जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय निताई गौरांग जय निताई गौरांग जय निताई गौरांग नित्य गौरा हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल निताई गौरा हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव टाइगर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। So today we are reading from chapter 4 verse 41. योगासनस्थकर्माणां ज्ञानसच्छिन्न संशयम् आत्मवन्तं न कर्माणि निर्बन्धन्ति धनञ्जय। योगसन्न्यस्तकर्माणां ज्ञानसञ्छिन्न संशयम् आत्मवन्तं न कर्माणि निबन्धन्ति धनञ्जय। योगसन्न्यस्तकर्माणां ज्ञानसञ्छिन्न संशयम् आत्मवन्तं न कर्माणि निबन्धन्ति धनञ्जय। Yoga, word to word translation. Yoga by devotional service in Karma Yoga. Sannyasta, one who has renounced. Karmanam, the fruits of actions. Jnana, by knowledge. Sanchana, cut. Samasyam, doubts. Atmavantam, situated in the self. Na, never. Karmani, works. Nibandhanti, do bind. Dhananjaya, O conqueror of the riches. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One who works in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by the transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of work, O conqueror of the riches. Purport. One who follows the instructions of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is imparted by the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, becomes free from all doubts by the grace of transcendental knowledge. He, as a part and parcel of the Lord, in full Krishna consciousness, is already established in self-knowledge. As such, he is undoubtedly above the bondage to action. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम अज्ञानं तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जलशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्ये मनो आभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे. So this is a beautiful verse. It's talking about the devotional service, renouncing the fruit of action, and without any doubts, we destroy all illusions. So one who is taking Krishna consciousness seriously goes forward toward understanding the real purpose of life. Here, three words are very important and mentioned: devotional service. First, we have to understand that devotional service means something which we are doing just to offer into the service of Krishna, whether we are doing our household activities, even at the time of cooking. We are cooking, but when we offer that food to the Lord, then that becomes the devotional service, because that food is not to be enjoyed by individual as food, but that has to be taken as prasadam, what we first offer to the Lord. So devotional service is something which takes you towards Krishna. Devotional something is something which connects you with Krishna. We all are part and parcel of Krishna. In due course of time, life after life, we forget our relationship with Krishna. So this devotional service, which is also known as Navda Bhakti, help us to get connect with the Lord again. In this devotional service, everything is directed toward the Lord. It's been mentioned here by Srila Prabhupada that when the devotional service, when we follow it, then we come to the platform where we are able to renunciate the fruit of our action. Otherwise, each and every individual want the fruit first. Before doing any activity, we first wanted to confirm that what will I get out of this activity. Whether to call it about in a material world and sometimes also in spiritual world, people are very much inclined toward the fruit. What will I get out of it? But the devotional service, when we really proceed into it, when we really doing the devotional service, then the the entitlement and the greed to achieve the fruit of the activities gets on the side. We really wanted to do everything for the Krishna, for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and for the pleasure of the Acharyas, for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. So here, there are so many beautiful stories we found, and the word uh, whose doubts have been destroyed by the transcendental knowledge. So the first thing is to come up to the platform of devotional service. Then you have to renunciate the fruit of your action. Then there is no doubt. So these three things comes one after other, and when there is no doubt, then only you can surrender properly. We see in the spiritual world also that people do so many activities, but then they are not able to surrender fully. Why? Because they are not doing activities what they are supposed to. In the sense, they may think they are doing spiritual activities, but actually, internally, they are not surrendered to the Lord. There are so many ways to do devotional service, like we Navda Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So, chanting of the holy name. Chanting of the holy name is a very sublime process. When we talk about Navda Bhakti, it's always Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So it's like you're hearing, you're chanting, and also you're remembering the Lord. So devotional service in chanting the holy name completes most of the part of Navda Bhakti. Why so? Because it making you connect with the Lord. You're hearing, you're saying, and you're remembering. Then your Anjanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. You come up to the ultimate platform where you surrender yourself. Like Bali Maharaj surrendered himself at the last. He said, you put the last step onto my head. That was a full surrender. So devotional service takes you to the path which is very difficult to be achieved by those who are karma kandis, or those who are onto the path of they called sakam karmis, or samarthas. Samarthas are those who want something in return from the Lord also. But devotional service is like, I only need your love and affection in return, Krishna. Whatever I'm doing, I'm offering onto your lotus feet. So we have so many beautiful stories. Srila Prabhupada is one of the most biggest example that he has done devotional service without any fruitive result. He has taken, he has offered everything for the service of Krishna. And then he has given all this sublime process to all of us, which is very easy. Now it is very easy because it's been tested by our acharyas, it's been tested by Srila Prabhupada. So this process is very easy. I'll I'll take up a story. It's very interesting. Like people follow so many panth and path where they want to really achieve the ultimate. They really wanted to worship somebody who's very powerful, but they don't know. So there is one little funny story. I want to share it here. There was a man who wanted to worship somebody who's really very powerful. So he inquired, went here and then, and by the mercy of the Lord, he met one saint, one sadhu. So he said, I wanted to worship somebody who's really very powerful, somebody who can help me out of all clutches of Maya. So the sadhu was compassionate and given him the small deities of baby Krishna. Bal Gopal. So after he handed over to that particular person, the sadhu said, he is the most powerful, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. You go home and worship, and you will get all good desired result in your devotional life. You will get all knowledge. God will impart you everything and will lead you toward the higher purpose of life and knowledge. But that person, when he saw small baby Krishna deities, he said, I want somebody powerful, somebody who really powerful. But you're giving me a small, this baby Krishna. Can you give me something more powerful? And then the sadhu said, the saint said, actually, it doesn't matter if Krishna is small or huge in form. He is same powerful. He is omnipotent. So don't worry about that aspect. Somehow the saint was trying to convince that person that he is the most powerful person, but that person was using his eyes, his intelligence to understand, like, he's such a small deity, how it can be so powerful. But then also been said by the saint reluctantly, but he started worshipping the small deity of Krishna, and at home he started offering all arati, he started offering all bhoga. One day, what so happened, one rat came and took away the laddu prasadam that was been uh, bhoga that was offered to the lordship. So that person watched it and he said, I think rat is more powerful than this small deity, so I should keep the deities on side and start worshipping this rat. So he started worshipping and offering bhoga. And one day the rat saw the cat in the house and he ran off. And then the person decided, oh, actually, not rat, the cat is the right candidate to be worshipped. So he started worshipping the cat. And again, the arti, the boga, all offerings and everything going on. And one day his wife brought the dog in the house and the cat ran off. Then he said, actually, the dog is the one whom I should worship. Then he started doing the same thing. And one day the wife scolded the dog and dog ran off. And he said, actually, the Almighty is my wife. I should worship my wife. She is such a powerful person. Actually, I should offer everything. I got the ultimate goal of life. She is the one who will take me toward the higher purpose of life. She is very powerful because dog was powerful on cat and cat was powerful on rat and rat was powerful on the baby Krishna. So I think she is the right candidate to be worshipped. So he started literally worshipping the wife with bhoga offering and all. And one day he scolded his wife or something and wife got afraid. And he said, actually, no one is as powerful as I am. I should worship myself. I am the most powerful person here. So this way, the person was just checking around all these stupid things. But when we are on the right track and we understand things as per the shastras, as per the acharyas, then things are easy. We don't have that much of time to get swept away with this kind of experimental zone. Time is less in sense. We are born into the yuga of Kali Yuga, and life is really unpredictable here, and in short span of time we have to do a lot of things. So we should not experiment here and there with these kind of things, like worshipping rat, cat, dog, wife, myself on. So we should stick to the process, the sublime process given by Srila Prabhupada, by the acharyas, and we should follow it with full dedication. And we should be very sincere in our devotional service. That is the first word being mentioned here in the shloka, devotional service. When you're having a path, then only you can reach somewhere. When you don't have the path, you don't know which way to go, where you're going to reach. So this is the beautiful path given to us. We should stick to it. The story, the moral of the story is, like, we should be fixed in our devotional service. We should never leave this process. It's so sublime. We must not be like this person who's experimenting here and there. That's what the message here, that we should not experiment much. We should not sway away with this kind of words or that kind of word. So rather, we must follow obediently the path of devotional service set by Srila Prabhupada. make which will make our life a successful journey. It will not waste our time because everything has been tested by the acharyas. So here in this shloka, these three things are very, very much important, in the sense it will lead you toward, and you will also have a checklist, where am I going? When you are sticking to your devotional service, sooner or later you will start feeling that you don't want actually that what you were desiring in the early years of your devotional life. Like sometimes devotees in the beginning of their journey in Krishna consciousness, they do need some kind of good name recognition, this and that. But in due course of time, when we really proceed further, not with the years but with our connectivity with the Lord, with our surrender to the Lord, then that kind of thirst for recognition comes down. That is what, then you start renouncing the fruit of your action. You don't even want to get acknowledged for what you have done, but yes, you want to continue your service. You don't want to give away your service, even though you don't want any acknowledgement for what been accomplished by you. So these are two different things. That person never leaves the service. It doesn't mean that when you are renouncing the fruit of your action, doesn't mean that you give away your devotional life, you give away your devotional activities or devotional services. No, you continue that, but you don't want results, you don't want acknowledgement, you don't want fruits of that activities. That comes slowly. It may take few months, it may take few years, also depends with whom you're associating. If we associate with the right set of senior devotees, they do guide us, they prepare us for our betterment in our devotional life. And then the time comes when we start knowing self-knowledge. Here Prabhupada has mentioned this word in the purport, self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is very important. Who are you? Who am I? Why I am suffering, why these things are going on, why there's so much juggling going on in the world, as if now we are seeing the life has become unpredictable, really unpredictable. What's going on? This is actually a learning phase for all of us. This is the practical what we used to hear from Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam word, Dukhalyam Ashashvatam, everything is temporary and full of pain. Now, in real sense, all of us, keep aside the personal problem, keep aside the financial problem, but the current situation, what we are running through, this coronavirus, actually everyone is suffering. Everyone, whatever their bank balance is, whatever their education is, whatever their high profile status is, everyone is having the same challenge, the same fear, the same uncertainty. So the scenario in which we all are living, actually directing all of us to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead with full heart. Because I think we all are very fortunate, because we are practically seeing, we are practically seeing what's happening all around the world. So now everything depends on the sweet will of the Lord. If Lord is happy, he gonna keep all his devotees, all of us safe. So all prayers and everything is going on, and we actually depends on him. Okay, I want to share one more beautiful story which will acknowledge how devotee should be in his devotional service, and he should not take any fruits of his action, because the shloka is talking about all these three things. So once so happened that Narada Muni visited Hanumanji, and he just went there and just asked about how are you, and they both inquired about Hanumana, and Narada Muni inquired about each other's well-being. And then it started like Hanumanji was just trying to understand why Narada Muni is trying to be so sweet with him and talking, how are you and everything. And then Narada said, there is one doubt I am caring for you, like you're not a devotee actually. And Hanumana was little surprised to hear, and Narada Muni again repeated that you are not a devotee. And of course Narada Muni said these things just to make um, Hanuman uncover more hidden truth and more hidden things of his devotional service. So these kinds of inquiries we do see among the devotees. So Narada Muni further said, according to the Vedic injunctions, there are six kind of aggressors in which you are the one. He said there are six aggressors: the Atatais, one who gives poison to other, one who attacks with a deadly weapon, one who sets house on fire, one who plunders riches, one who occupies another person's land, and one who kidnaps someone's wife. And he said, when you went to Lanka to see Mother Sita, that time you set fire to the house of all Lankavasi. They were Rakshasas, but then you put fire there. And this is one of the aggressors. So I think you're not a devotee. Hanumana smiled and said, my dear Naraji, one of the important duty of a Ram Bhakta is to uh, take charge of unclaimed dead bodies and put them into and offer a fire obligation, and so that they will get a better destination and can get a better birth in their next life. So as a devotee, I took a charge of it, because all the Rakshasas, those who were residing in Lanka, were not taking the name of Lord Rama. They were doing all sinful activities. They were not respecting the Brahmanas, the Shastras, the woman, the cow. And on the top of that, their king was Ravana, who has taken away Mother Sita. So that kind of community, full community, were of Rakshasas, and they were not taking any kind of devotion. They were not doing any kind of humanitarian work, even what to talk of devotional service. So anybody who is not chanting the holy name, who is not following the Shastras, who is not leading a devotional life, according to Hanumanji, is a dead body. So he did the fire of, he offered all these dead bodies to fire, so that they will get a better birth and better destination. So we can see all these things everywhere in this story. Hanumanji is thinking for the betterment of those who are not uh, following the scriptures, who are not taking the right path, which been led by the acharyas or the saintly person. So he thought it's my duty to let them get out of this life, because they are already dead. They are doing all kind of nonsense. They are incurring more and more kind of sin. So then Narada again smiled and said, I know, but then it's always beautiful to hear something from the devotees. Two devotees, when they sit together, when they meet, they talk about their own devotional experience, and why this thing happened and why that thing happened. They discuss, and the more beautiful nectar comes out, because when two talk about something beautiful, the more beautiful thing comes out. It's like churning more and more, churning more and more of the buttermilk, so we will get the butter. And here the butter is Krishna's holy name, the pastime, the activities, what Krishna is performing, what Lord Rama is performing. It gives a beautiful taste. It's like a nectar to the devotees. So then he said, they were all in Lanka. They were all doing nonsense, but there were one palace which are not burned. That was of Vibhishana, because Vibhishana was following uh, Lord Ram Chandra. He was taking the name of Lord Rama, and was thinking, when he gonna meet the Lord Rama, when he gonna do some service to Lord Rama. This way, even I burned all of this Lanka, which was full of Rakshasas. All these seemed to me like a dead bodies, but there was one person living. That was Vibhishana. So those who were living the life of devotion, those who were trying to live the life of devotion, taking the name of the Lord, devotional service they are doing, they are actually living. That's what said in this story by Hanumana. that those who are actually doing devotional service, they are living, others are dead. So we should learn from all these stories that always remember the Lord in His name, in His pastime, and uh, in His relation with His devotees. And devotees are always thinking of the Lord, and Lord is always thinking of the devotees. This is a beautiful relationship Lord and His devotees share. Hanumana went to Lanka on the instruction of Lord Sri Ram to see Mother Sita. But there also he did good for others so that they will get out of this sinful life and get into another birth and can get into devotional service. In Srimad Bhagavatam also, Akrurji has said in one of the shloka, which is also stating the same thing, Yasya akhilamiva ha biha sumangalaha vacho vimisharaha guna karma janma bha Pranti Shubhanti Punanti Vahi Jagata Yastad Virakta Shava Shobhana Mataha. Here in the translation, Akrura is saying all sins are destroyed and all good fortune is created by the Supreme Lord's qualities, activities, and appearance. And words that describe all of these things, everything beautify and purify in this world. On the other hand, words which are bereft of these glories, like decoration of dead bodies. There are few important words in the Srimad Bhagavatam verse, like Akhila Miva, Habiha. It destroys all the sins of the entire world. Anything which is related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead destroys all kind of sin. When we start chanting the holy name, when we start doing whatever menial service or big service to the Lord, it start purifying the environment to the. Then it takes us to the better level of understanding of spirituality and devotional service. Then the second word is Sumangala. It creates all auspiciousness. So Sumangala means everything which is auspicious. So when we chant the holy name, when we dance on the holy name, the environment gets so much purified. We get so much happiness. We want to dance on the kirtan. When we see in the temple devotees gather, they dance on the kirtan. It's a beautiful atmosphere where everyone enjoys the association of the Lord in the form of name. Like it's been mentioned, Kali Kale Nama Rupa Krishna Avatara Nam Haite Haya Sarva Jagat Nistara. Krishna has taken the avatar in the form of his name in Kali Yuga. So whenever we call Krishna or Rama, Krishna is here. When we chant Hari Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna is here with us. That is why we enjoy and we must enjoy. That is the testimonial for all of us as a devotee, that how much we enjoy our chanting. Then the word comes in the same shloka, Prananti, gives life. It gives prana to all of the things which are associating with the Lord of his name or his pastime or with his devotees are full of life. Then Shubhanti. Shubhanti means it beautifies the entire world. And then Punanti purifies the entire world. So this is what devotional service is. It purifies the entire world, it beautifies the entire world, and it takes away all the sin. So we should all always remember that we only should, it's not only limited to me or to few of us. We should propagate the message of Srila Prabhupada. We should propagate the message of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and let everybody taste this nectar. Let everybody be a part of this beautiful world, because it's been mentioned here, Shubhanti Prananti. It's give life to everyone. The name of the Lord gives life to everyone, because that is what we are hankering, life after life. When we chant the holy name, It purifies our consciousness and we start feeling good. So many times we meet some people, those who are new to our ISKCON, or those who are first time chanting the holy name, they really relish it. They do give their experiences. And when I chanted, I really felt very good because they associated with the Lord. There is no difference between the Lord and his name. So when we say Krishna, Krishna is all attractive. Krishna is all powerful. And when you associate with somebody who is all beautiful and all powerful, you will be happy. Krishna is full of all six opulences. So devotional service, and then comes the renunciation part that comes automatically. It's not something artificial you have to follow. When we follow devotional service, slowly we start feeling the sense of renunciation in our heart. We start feeling, let us share good things with other. Most of the people in the society, in the world, we see they just wanted to keep good things with themselves as their own lucky charm or as their own success mantra. They don't want to share it with others because they just want happiness for them. But great devotees like Srila Prabhupada, he given the ultimate success mantra, the ultimate happiness mantra to everyone, whosoever, without any discrimination. So this is the activity of someone who is very exalted, who has really renunciated everything. That is what Srila Prabhupada is. That is what all our acharyas is. And we should always follow them. We should try to follow them at least. At least up to some point we will come someday to the level where we will be happy with whatever we are doing past so many years. So people try to hide the success mantra, but we at ISKCON try to give away this success and happy mantra of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to each and every person. Why? Because this is the only process. Preaching is the essence. So we have to keep on preaching. All these Bhagavad Gita classes, all these Bhagavatam classes is also a mode of preaching and bringing people close to Krishna, to let them actually taste what Krishna's glorification means, how we're gonna get connected with the Lord. These are some of the small kind of examples. Maybe 1 hour a day, maybe 2 hours a day, you can hear about Krishna. Then slowly you can cultivate the habit where you will hear more and more, you will chant more and more. So we all should connect to it. And it destroys transcendental knowledge. So without reading the Shastras, without reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, you will never be able to understand what is transcendental knowledge, because there is so many type of gurus are available. There are so many type of knowledge is available. Because of this technology, things are very easily accessible to each and every individual. But we should understand what is the meaning of transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge means something which is beyond the clutches of uh, three modes of material nature: Satogun, Rajagun, Tamagun. Transcendental knowledge helps us to cross over the ocean of innocence. All this Maya, all this material world, it helps us to get out of it. That is what transcendental knowledge means. And how you're gonna get it? When you have right direction, the right path, the right guru, and you have to follow the guru. When guru is teaching you how to chant the mantra, you should learn it. When guru is teaching you how to read Srimad Bhagavad Gita, you should try to follow it. So transcendental knowledge is not available. Like it's not that way so easy. You have to set up your some rules and regulation. Then only you will be able to achieve it. Even books are available everywhere, but you have to have somebody who will teach you, who will give you right direction. That is why all this congregational chanting, hearing and classes are going on. If everybody is able to read by herself or himself, then there is no need of all these classes. We learn from each other. There's so many nice speakers are coming Bhagavad Gita. They are giving Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So we pick up some of the beautiful point out of and style and try to imbibe them in our activities. So hearing is very important. This is one of the first part, Shravanam. Shravanam is very important because what you are going to hear, knowingly or unknowingly, you will start following it. Shravanam will be followed by Kirtanam in material world also, in spiritual world also. In the sense, if you are hearing somebody is saying something wrong to you, you may be objecting in the beginning, no, this is not right, this is not right, that is not right. But in some time, if you keep on hearing the same nonsense, you will start repeat the same nonsense. There is no, you will, your mind will, this is a natural process. Even though your mind was thinking in the beginning, it's not right what this person is telling, but when you keep on hearing, you will start saying the same word. So always hear Krishna Katha, always hear the holy name of the Lord. You will start speaking that. So Shravanam Kirtanam, when you will start hearing and you will start saying, you will start remembering that. So this way, hearing is very important. Always hear good thing. In material world also, people prohibit to hear anything negative. They call anything which give you grudges, which gives you anger, must be avoided, because then it overpowers the positivity and pious activities. In devotional life also, hearing is very important. So we should always try to hear all lectures of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, all Krishna Kathas. Try to hear more of chanting. When we are chanting, that time also, it's not like we are blank or we are just murmuring. It should be loud enough when we are chanting the holy name of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It should be loud enough that one should be able to hear it, because then it comes to Sankirtan Yagna. Your mouth is giving ahuti to your ear, which is kunda. So that becomes a yagya, Sankirtan yagya. That is what Prabhupada and Acharyas have given us for the Kali Yuga. This is Sankirtan yagya. When we all get together and chant the holy name, this is one of the simplest way of purifying our consciousness. All these things are going to take us toward the Krishna. To understand Krishna is very easy. It's not difficult. But the Maya is so powerful. The alluring Maya is so powerful that if we try also, we fail a lot time. We really fail a lot time to surrender fully to the Guru, to surrender fully to Krishna. That is where hearing comes. That is where association comes. That is where reading of the books come. So today's shloka is all about devotional service. So one who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action, and whose doubts have been destroyed by the transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not by the reactions of work or of the work. So that is what. If we are following everything, then we will not be bound by the karmas. The karma is the only thing which makes us to come back here. If the balance of your pious karmas are more, you have to take birth. If the balance of your bad karmas are more, you have to take birth. Whatever we are tasting, good or bad, happiness or distress, it's all coming because of our karma. So Krishna has given here the sure shot success key. Just surrender everything, follow the devotional service. Don't just make yourself entitled to any of the actions what you're performing. Just offer it to Krishna. You will not get any kind of bondage. You will not get bound by any of the karmas you are performing. So this is something we should learn. that I am suffering because of my karma, I am having bad health because of my karma, I am having this poor state or this kind of suffering or that kind of suffering because of my karma. So in this lifetime, I should not do anything which will again bind me into this vicious circle of karma. Karma works in a very intricate manner. You may never know in which lifetime you're gonna pay that karma back. It's always good. Do good deeds. Always do good deeds, and at the end, offer it onto the lotus feet of Krishna. Don't stop doing. Don't become somebody who is just running away from karma. Karma has to be performed. All these chapters we are reading about karma and the transcendental knowledge related to karma. Why? Because every now and then we are doing karma, whether mentally, physically, or verbally. Like I uh, always mention, karmas of mansa, vacha, and karmana. From mind also, I am creating some of the karmas, good or bad. I will be tasting its result in due course of time or in coming life. Mansa, then comes vacha, with my words, whatever words I am uttering. If it's going to give pain to others, I'm gonna taste that same pain in coming time or in life. Mansa, vacha, and karmana, the actual activities what we perform is also give us back. So this karma is something has to be handled very carefully. We always try to do good things, but at the end, we must offer it to Krishna. From Swa to Sarva and from Sarva to Krishna. Like just thinking about yourself, start thinking about everyone, and from everyone, offer it to Krishna. So don't limit yourself to your own self. Consider everybody as a part of your family, big extended family. Vasudevasya Kutumbakam. Do your best. That is what Krishna expects from us. This is the family of Krishna, and Father never wanted that one child should do some nonsense with the other child. So we should always try to help others. We should always try to support either in devotional life, whichever best in our capacity. We should try to help them in devotional life, in material life, and at the end, we should not try to taste the fruitative result. We should offer it onto the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. A few years back I was hearing it like it's like a burning lamp, burning lamp. When somebody gives you credit of something like, wow, you have done something really very wonderful. Guru can handle that. Srila Prabhupada can handle that, but we cannot. We will become puffed up. So it's like a burning lamp. If somebody is gonna give you in your hand the burning, it's gonna burn you. Your hand gonna get burned. So these all, glorifying words. We should glorify devotees. We must glorify devotees because that is they are representing Krishna. They are propagating the message of Krishna. But as an individual, we should not try to take it. When we try to take it, it's gonna burn us. We will be into very bad shape. Spiritually, if we start enjoying this glorification, it's gonna burn us away soon. So mentally we should always offer everything to Krishna. Physically we should always endeavor to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, satisfy Guru and Krishna by doing all devotional activities in a right track, but never accept the glories. Offer it to the Krishna. Who am I? I am not a doer. I am just an instrument. I'm fortunate that I have come into this movement where I have learned a lot, where I have come across so many wonderful devotees. And I offer everything onto the lotus feet of Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and Krishna. That's my duty. So this how we will not be able to destroy ourselves. It's not easy to destroy an iron, but its own rust can destroy it very easily. So it applies to all of us. Nobody can destroy us. We can destroy ourselves very easily. So we always keep on checking ourselves. We should have a checklist for our own self, then for others. So it's like none of us truly wins until we all win together. In this beautiful movement, we should all proceed into our devotional service to the journey of the Supreme. Hare Krishna. I stop here. Any questions can be taken?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the wonderful class, Mataji. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, if you can just explain a little bit more about that pastime which you shared about Narad Muni and Hanumanji, where Hanumanji said, if I think so, my understanding is wrong, but please correct me, that Hanumanji said that it's a mercy on those people who were sinning, I killed them. But how Hanumanji's killing connects them with Lord Rama? If you can just explain a bit on that, Mataji.
Yeah. The devotee is always, like he said, Lord Rama is merciful and the devotee Hanumana is more merciful. So if they are going to get live till Lord Rama gonna arrive in Lanka, they're gonna commit more sin. So they have to pay back for their all sin. So the devotee is more merciful, and the devotee is also seeing that they will get a better chance and they will start their devotional service very soon if they get the right, their last rites, their Antim Samskar is done in a right manner. So Lord Rama, before the Lord Rama came, his messenger Hanumana came and delivered so many dead bodies, so called, because they were into the wrong path. Every day they are incurring more and more sin. So this way, Hanumana connecting it with his devotional service and said, "It's as a devotee, it's my service to offer this last rite, the last fire rite to all these dead bodies, because they are not into the path of devotional service. Rather, they are doing all kind of sinful activities, and their king, the leader himself, is the sinner, the one who has abducted Mother Sita." And so this way we can connect it with the story of Lord Shri Rama.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? All right, thank you. It looks like there's nothing else for today. Thank you for the class. Very
Okay,
good.
thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada.